makes it different, the submission on the ground, than these other events, the Eddie Bravo event at EBI and this? I'm not telling you to take a shit on anybody else's event, but I want to know is there a different rule sense? Because I think Al had a different, like some guys are in the gi, some guys aren't. You tell me about the event a little bit.
Okay, so for the rule sets, we go under the unified rules, which means the EBI rules. Somebody's going to win, somebody's going to lose. I've done a lot of grappling, Matt, and I'll tell you, I've been in over my head and known it. But if I can just beat the clock, I don't have to beat the other guy. I can get a draw and feel good about myself. So we didn't want that to happen. We got to have a winner, we got to have a loser, so we can have official ranking standings and ultimately crown a champion. So we decided to go with that rule set. We happen to take place in a cage. That's just the apparatus that we believe is more spectacular for the fans. And as far as Al's match, by the way, in many ways that was not called correctly. The referee even did come in after the fact to say, Al, I missed this. I missed it, and I can't take it back, and it won't happen again, but here's what happened. And I don't know if you got to see it, but Al was pretty dominant in this match, but they end up in overtime. Unless you get a submission, because there's no points, no matter how dominant you were, you go right back to zero. So Al for sure showed everybody, including Perry in fairness, that Al was the better grappler. But now it becomes a game, Matt. When you get into overtime with EBI rules, it's a game, and there's a lot of strategies. And if the referee breaks a position, which means the clock stops, and ultimately you have to go to riding time, that's going to hurt you. That's what happened.
At one
What
point,
is riding time? What does that mean, riding time?
So let's say you start with a guy's back. Everything stopped. One guy goes down. I put the hooks on. I start with your back. Referee says go. The clock starts ticking. Now, if I can finish you, great, I win. But if he gets out, we switch positions. Now he gets his opportunity. If I get out, we now go and see who got out in the least amount of time. So that's where the game and the clock matters. Al went for a submission, which is fair game. The referee didn't realize he was going for a submission, thought that the other guy escaped. Once he says break and the timekeeper braked, we're stuck with that number.
Oh, now, especially with these rules, and I'm not telling you how to run your show, Chael, but holy shit, man, you got to see it. Al, and being in the same room when Al's pulled off the twister, he gets the twister, cat's out of the bag anyway. He was going for it a ton on Mike Perry. But when he goes for he gets the twister way more than he ever gets, I see, rear naked chokes. So it totally made sense what he was doing for me to watch. Because he wasn't ever really trying to play a game. He was really just trying to finish him. Al's like a little pit bull, you know?
So, absolutely.
Yeah, he wanted to make him tap, and he wanted that. So when I saw him going for that, I'm like, all right, he got out of the one. Here he goes again. So he put himself in that position for the ref to stop it. It's like, I'm sure you wanted to take that ref, and do a superfly snooker or some shit.
Right. And Matt, I know that position, and Jim, I'm sorry if we're losing you a little bit, but Matt, just to finish this thought, so you've got two parts, right? You got the upper body and you have the lower body. So Al lets the upper body go, but he's still got the lower body entangled, which means it's fair play. So as he's rotating to a submission, the ref just saw, oh, you lost your seatbelt. I guess we're done here.
But
we weren't.
But just, I'm sorry, but just for the record, is it in the so obviously with banana splits and stretching of the groin, Jimmy, and for making guys tap out that way, calf slice and whatnot from the lower body, it obviously wasn't over. Like just for the future.
Correct.
So I know.
Correct.
Okay.
That is the correct application of the rule. The way you're interpreting the rule is the correct interpretation of the rule.
Okay. Okay, no, I mean, listen, you could see, a ref's a rough job anyway, but it's one of those things with those type of matches, it becomes a game, exactly. So if one guy, like that first 5-minute match, if it's an MMA match, it's almost like a 10-8 round because he was on him. Al was like a pit bull, but when Perry's strong, and so when somebody's defensive and he's got, almost doing like an old school Sakuraba, looking for a Kimura when you're looking to lock up and stuff like that. It's not the easiest for a lesser grappler to survive 5 minutes with a better grappler. I mean, you give another 5 minutes, it could be a totally, or another couple of minutes could be done. But Absolutely. To survive 5 minutes, it's even mounted, whatever it is, back. So it is weird because then when you get to the overtime, you get into a position where the guy did not earn his way to get there. So, I mean, he earned it, I guess, by surviving, but it's not like, man, all right, I'm taking you down, I'm getting you in an arm lock, now I'm going to finish you. No, you're not. You're skipping all that. You're just starting from there. Starting, well, I don't. It's a game, Chael, but
it's a game.
just
No,
talking out loud.
and everything you're saying is right. And like trying to figure out the perfect way to do it, I think we could have a lot of conversations. But Matt, I'll tell you what does drive me crazy in the world of grappling. Grappling wants to be mainstream. I want it to be mainstream. But Matt, nobody can agree on any rules. You have a show. Every promoter has to create his own rules. It's like some kind of an ego thing. Basketball, you go into any court in the world, you put the ball in the net, you get 2 points. Everybody understands that. Grappling wants to change the rules and then figure out why we can't ever get on Sports Center. We can't get on Sports Center because no one in the hell knows what we're even doing.
What is the reason for it? That different promotions want different rules. Do they think certain things will make it more exciting?
Yes, or they think that they protected it, or they think they want to have ownership with it, or they'll look at grappling and go, okay, here's the flaws with it, and here's what I'm going to change. It usually does come from a good place, but what it really does is create confusion. People just get lost. I mean, you still got things where there's a point system. Okay, great. The IBJJF is some of the originals, and I don't think they should be questioned. But when you go over to Abu Dhabi, which is still looked at as the most spectacular, the Olympics of our sport, if you will, they follow their own rules. And Matt and I have both done Abu Dhabi, and Matt and I both did well in Abu Dhabi, and Matt and I will both tell you there's a couple of problems with the rule set at Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you said, when they first started with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu rules, it was simple enough where it's like, all right, what's better for the street fight? Starting, standing, 2 points, you get it down. The most dominant position, clear the legs, cross-side, better, 3 points. The best position for a street fight was mounted, 4 points, back, both hooks. And it made sense. It made sense, Chael, for that point system, as that could carry you through a real fight, through a IBJJF old school rules tournament, to an Abu Dhabi. That rule set is a good rule set to have for a fight. But because but obviously when it comes now, people get to manipulate the rules where they get a little bit of points and then they start stalling and it changes everything. Sure. So then they went into the no points with the Metamorphoses and then, like you said, Chael, a lot of draws, man. So it's like, then at one point, I think they had no time limit whatsoever or some shit, and that didn't go well. Had a couple of matches that went fucking how long, and so it is hard to find that. What's that?
I watched Felipe versus Gordon Ryan. It was the only match of the entire card, and they held it in like a workout room. But it was no time limit. No, somebody taps, and whoever that is the loser. They went 47 minutes. Wow. And it ended up making for a fun day. I mean, if you're gonna buy an event and there's only one match, that's a little bit tough way to go. So I would rather have more time than less time. But to your point, yeah, Matt, we have to come up admitting up front nothing's going to be perfect, but we still have to have rules, and we all got to follow them. There's no other way to crown a champion. How do we truly know who the best in the world is when there's 5 different rule sets and 5 different ranking systems? Come on, that doesn't work.
It's true. No, that is true. I wonder what the rule set that you're using, although exciting, does that show the best grappler?
Sure.
Or does it show the guy?
Question.
You know, or does it show the guy who's great at escapes and fucking, you know what I mean? Sure. A guy can survive 5 minutes. All right, man, I'm great at getting out of the back, great at getting out the arm. Let's go, motherfucker. You know, and
that's a fair question.